Greetings, I'm Solid Scully and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts, where we Disney up in this bitch as we finally start seeing some of the worlds in this game. This time a new one, Beast's Castle. Yeah, we didn't get to see this in Kingdom Hearts 1 for some bizarre reason, but now we get the Beauty and the Beast adaptation good and proper. If, well, a bit odd.
Hey, what is this place?
It's huge!
And sort of gloomy, don't you think?
I wonder who lives here.
Hey, does anybody else recognize that?
Hey, that's the Beast!
Yeah!
Maybe we should check up on him.
Look!
Come on!
So off we pop to find the Beast. And, well, admittedly, a bit of context is kind of lost. 358 over 2 days, which is the prequel to Kingdom Hearts 2, does sort of go into what Beast's deal is here. Well, as you will soon see in a little bit, but let's just say it's honestly one of the better worlds in terms of both intertwining Kingdom Hearts' original plot as well as, you know, trying to adapt the Disney movie. So again, you have all the symbolism, again you have the rose, you have the beasts, dickish turmoil, and, you know, all that being represented, but at the same time it also does play a pretty decent factor into what the organization is doing, because they're not just going to be sitting idly on their asses while they scheme away with their own machinations in the background, as you saw in the previous cutscene. No, they do have their plans in motion. It's just that some organization members are a bit more motivated than others. But again, we won't be seeing any of that until a little bit later. In the meantime, we've got Heartless to slay. And to talk about magic here, that I neglected to talk about in the previous part, yeah, they've kind of mixed up Fire and Blizzard, whereas Blizzard was previously your Ice Shotgun. Here they've kind of changed up Fire to make it a bit more useless. It's meant to be like your early game AoE attack, where you just sort of do a little fire hula hoop thing, which kind of makes me wish that there was a Lilo and Stitch world in this game. Although we will be seeing a little bit of that, let me tell you. But yeah, you pretty much have your Blizzard being your Shotgun Ice and Fire just doing your little dance thing. Funnily enough, even though I used them a lot in Kingdom Hearts 1, I don't really use Fire and Blizzard a lot in Kingdom Hearts 2, which is quite funny to me.
Oh, come on, enough already!
Somebody help us! Help!
Just in time! Wah!
Gee, do you think he maybe forgot who we are?
With this many Heartless around, something must be up.
Why do you have to do that?
So, yeah, I'm gonna say this as somebody who hasn't really... Well, again, I have seen the cutscenes of 358 over 2 days, and again, I have seen brief bits of gameplay footage, and I do know a little bit about what goes down in that world, particularly in relation to the Organization 13 member Zoldan, but... Yeah, the thing about Days is that, again, while it does cover the main Kingdom Hearts plot, a lot of the stuff in the Disney worlds is left, well, absent, and that's more to do with the pacing of the movie rather than the game, where you do actually get in-game cutscenes, but does it have more of like a natural, for anybody who's played 358 over 2 days? Yeah, I'm just curious if like there's any more of like a natural arc from where Beast was at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, where, you know, he reunited with Belle, happy, happy, joy, joy, Aru, woof, woof, all that kind of thing, compared to how he's so sullen. I guess to kind of re-rail his characterization back to where it was in the original Beauty and the Beast movie? I don't know. I mean, again, this is... Kingdom Hearts 2, in comparison, was 2005. Days, I think, was 2009. So again, a long fucking retconish thing kind of had to happen, I guess for the sake of adapting the movie, but all the same though, it's kind of a bizarre adaptation. But again, one that I do still think works, and again, for me, in terms of Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts, it's usually made or broken either by the likability of the characters or what they do in the world specifically. Because again, like, I mean, and while Kingdom Hearts 2 is slightly responsible for starting this, it's done a lot worse than Birth by Sleep, I'll say that much. But again, usually a bad example of this would usually be, you know, Sora, Donald, and Goofy walk around going, "Oh, hello there, Disney character, it's a pleasure to meet you with my anthropomorphic duck and dog. Oh no, the Heartless are coming! Quick, run away and do the plot while we fight enemies and then talk to Organization 13 for a bit." You know, and then we pretty much just fight some enemies, and then it's like, "Oh shit, person man, what are we gonna do?" And then Peter Griffin shows up going, "I don't know, Sora, this reminds me of the time when I had an Irish coffee and shit in Brian's grave." Actually, on that note, I honest to God hope to God that we don't get any fucking Simpsons or Family Guy worlds. Not that they probably would, considering they're more adult themes, but, yeah, God no. If we get a Peter Griffin summon in Kingdom Hearts 4, I'm just gonna turn off the game and kill Tetsuya Nomura, and his Nobody, and his Heartless, and his Unversed, and his Lassie, so he fulfills his focus. And of course, this is the drawback to the Drive Form system. This is Anti-Form. Basically, when Sora turned into a Heartless at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, this is basically the end result. If you use the Drive Forms too much, this is your penalty. So, yeah. The benefits of Anti-Sora is that, again, he's swift on his feet, he actually has a pretty cool evasion move, and again, he can deal a lot of hits, but the problem is, his strength remains static, so, again, he's pretty strong early game. Towards the end of the game, however, is when he becomes a little bit, well, I wouldn't say useless, but you're a lot more prone to damage. Mainly due to the fact that, fuck you, Sora, I'll talk as long as I want.
Oh, what am I going to do?
Okay.
Donald!
Hey, who opened the door?
Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Donald. Sora. Goofy.
Hiya.
Put me down. Put me down.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that was kind of sweet. And again, like, it's very rare that you see characters, like, directly acknowledge Donald or Goofy. Like, there is, like, "Oh, Sora, main character man. Thank goodness," and, oh yeah, you two bizarre aberrations of nature, duck and dog, can just sit over there and make sure not to shit on the carpet or anything. Anyway, to talk about the Anti-Form once more. Again, basically, again, I've said use the Drive Form too much, you get Anti-Form. But again, by the time you get Anti-Form once, it pretty much resets. And, yeah, that's pretty much your run course. So, it's nothing too bad. It's just, something you gotta watch out for. Because, again, unlike regular Sora or him in any of his Drive Forms, you can't pick up, health orbs during the Anti-Form. So, yeah, you gotta watch your health. But I don't know, otherwise it's an interesting mechanic and an interesting penalty while still allowing you to pull off some slick and silky combos that are pretty damn sweet. But in any case, this is pretty much Bell just chilling, really, and wondering what the hell's going on with Beast as he works out his issues of... well, that are kind of his own fault, really, because again, to kind of delve into the story of Beauty and the Beast, as is going to be exposited much later, yeah, basically, the prince was a bit of a dickhead. He refused to let an old woman stay in his house, and then when she turned out to be sexy as fuck, she cursed him into being a beast, which, again, you wouldn't think would be the end of the world, since there are a lot of furries around the internet, and, you know, they'd be looking at him thinking, you know what, pretty hot. Except, this was... actually, what century did this take place in? 1500s? 17th century? Whatever, a time when people were like, ye gods, it is a demon beast! Back, the power of Jesus compels you. So, yeah, sadly, he ain't getting no pussy. Until Belle came along. Well, I forget the circumstances. I have seen Beauty and the Beast before in terms of Disney movies, but again, that was back in, like, fucking chapter 3 of my life. You know, before I was introduced to a lot of hard science and fiction and a bunch of other shit and action movies that took my attention away. But I do remember seeing Beauty and the Beast. Like, I mean, I have very vivid memories of not only the ballroom scene, as well as a musical number, Be Our Guest, as well as Gaston, who I don't think ever actually made an appearance in Kingdom Hearts, which is kind of a shame. I mean, especially even in 358 over 2 days with one of the boss fights, like Infernal Engine, I think? Or was it Eternal Engine? Or I might be thinking of the Sonic Adventure 2 stage. Beautiful shot, but yeah, actually no, I think he might have appeared in Union Cross, I think. But anyway, it's a movie that I have seen, haven't seen in a long time, and I've actually kind of been thinking about doing this, like, because again, to kind of differentiate from Kingdom Hearts 1, we're pretty much just going through the Disney worlds, hoping to stop the organization along the way, you know, much in the same way as Kingdom Hearts 1 as a thematic parallel, but we do also make return visits to the world, so I'm thinking that maybe we just go through all these as we do. But I don't know, I'm curious if maybe I should, like, take some time out to maybe watch a few of these Disney movies to see if my opinions will give me a bit more to talk about compared to Kingdom Hearts 1, where I felt like I kind of had to recycle some commentary from Chain of Memories with my relative lack of knowledge. Because, I mean, there are a few that I actually have been interested in watching. I think Hercules is probably the biggest one on my bucket list, considering that I find the world and characters rather endearing, at least from what we've seen in Kingdom Hearts. I don't know. It might be something I'll do, we'll see how it goes on as we progress through this wonderful world as we defeat the large bodies, which now, thankfully, with the reaction command system, we can take down a little bit easier. Especially since they have a few new attacks, like sliding around like they're on a fucking water slide. But yeah, the reaction commands do actually come in really handy. I know a lot of people call them cheap, but at the same time, again, you get the full swing here. When they go into fucking angry time mode, you can pretty much just... Let's see if we can do it here. Because again, this is pretty much the angry time mode. Come on. There we go, that's the ticker. And yeah, you take him out pretty easily. Unfortunately, the fat bandits that you find in Agrabah with the fire breath and the bandits and the lady will unfortunately be a bit more of a pain in the ass, even more so than Kingdom Hearts 1 really, and well, they really grind my testicular glands into a fine paste that I shall then sling in their eyes and watch them burn. But, that's neither here nor there in this case. Where the hell did I leave my Pepsi? It is not here, and I have lost it. Queashed. Now it's time to invent commentary for myself. And I suppose I could probably also talk about the level design comparatively to Kingdom Hearts 1, because Kingdom Hearts 1 was very boxy in terms of its worlds and level design. And I mean, granted, given this ye old castle structure, you can probably see that as that as well, but yeah, the levels are expanded, not quite... I wouldn't say quite to the degree of something like, say, Birth by Sleep or Dream Drop Distance, where the areas were made larger to accommodate for the fact that they were on a smaller system, and I guess they wanted to look impressive with the amount of space per distance traveled, but I don't know, Kingdom Hearts 2 kind of manages at that nice degree of, like, gameplay and level design sustenance, in turn, while also giving you some really impressive sweeping views, because bear in mind, like, this was right about the end of the PS2's lifespan, so, again, with the PS3 right around the corner, a lot of developers around this time were really trying to push the system to its limits, and I think Kingdom Hearts 2, along with the likes of, you know, God of War 2 and a couple of other games here and there, like, I mean, goddamn, the PS2 was a hell of a beast, and Kingdom Hearts 2 pushed it to its limits, and I can't help but love it, man. Now then, where did I leave my fucking phone? Because I need some tangents to talk about. There it is. Let's see if we got anything interesting to discuss as we look at these fine bits of decor. Yes. Well, something I can talk about if I can find the artwork, which I'm pretty sure I do have somewhere around here, is that again, Kingdom Hearts 2 was actually toying with the idea of giving Sora a double-bladed Keyblade. But again, you can see the concept art I'm going to put up right now. Yeah, I guess they were planning on doing like a bit of a Darth Maul kind of thing, or maybe Sora's version of the dual-wielding Keyblades would have been like to do a bit of a Darth Maul kind of thing. But, yeah, it never came to fruition, so kind of sad, really, because like I would have enjoyed seeing a few more Keyblade variants, like maybe something like a staff kind of thing, or, you know, different, well, I mean, you kind of do see it when we get to Birth by Sleep and Union Cross with a few more unique designs, but I don't know, like maybe some staff-style weapons, or like nunchucks, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe they want to keep the Keyblade thing to traditional swords and a samurai kind of thing. But, I don't know. It would have been interesting, and in some ways you can kind of see that reminiscent sort of design, because, you know, when characters have certain limit forms and they clutch their swords together, they do kind of resemble that, which makes me wonder if that was where it was meant to come in. I don't know, I'm just spitballing at this point. And of course, this is another one of those pish minigames where you have to push the lass across in the giant wardrobe thing. Yeah, she just kind of blocks your path for no reason. Like, I mean, she'll just... If you fail that minigame, she'll just bash you out the way and go, "Nah, mate, I'm staying here in front of the door. I'm made of wood, so I won't really protect it." But yes, alongside cursing the beast to be, well, a beast, the Enchantress also basically made all the castle inhabitants into household appliances and wooden furniture. Who, in terms of an upcoming minigame, can still get tired, which creates a whole conundrum of metaphysical qualities and aberrations of science that I am very curious about. They're made of wood, they don't have a muscle structure, or do they? Like, if you were to hack these people into pieces, would they bleed? Do they have muscle and sinew? It's fascinating to think about. But then again, I'm sure they just roll with the explanation of, "It's magic, I don't have to explain it." But again, basically, let's go off and rescue the teapot and the kettle and everything else basically inside. Whatever, there really isn't much to say about this. So, something I actually kind of want to talk about, since it'll be a while before we return to Holy Bastion, but one thing I wanted to bring up beforehand was, again, the fact that Squall took up the name Leon in Kingdom Hearts 1. I still don't like that, I still think he should have been called Squall, but again, there is partially a story reason for that, again, he felt terrible for losing his world, and I guess Rinoa implicitly died. But yeah, apparently the name Leon, which Squall took in Kingdom Hearts 1, I think is meant to be a reference to the main character of Final Fantasy II. Which, I mean, all the same, like, I mean, if you were going to include a character called Leon, why not include the Final Fantasy II character? It just... I don't know, that's the thing about Kingdom Hearts, like, I mean, when it brings in Final Fantasy characters, it either just does cheeky references where they don't really have to do anything cool with it, or again, they're just... I don't know. It kind of bugs me, really, but... Again, you'll see a bit more of what I mean in Kingdom Hearts 3 when they really neglected them. Anyway, this is well, kind of interesting with a unique Heartless in this, because they're actually not living statues or anything, they're actually possessed by, like, little ghostly apparitions of darkness. Again, as you'll see here as we deplete its health bar, we basically need to attack the central core that's possessing everything here. In a much more difficult boss fight than I remember being, like, look at the amount of damage I was tanking there. So yeah, don't go after the small fry, basically just go after this little energy core thing. Hit ball to pass test, etc. But again, as you'd expect, yeah, you gotta do this a couple more times, and that pretty much just makes up for a thing. And again, before the beast became a bit of a bitch, yeah, this was basically him just sort of sticking around and I guess trying to protect his people. So again, it does make him a bit more of an interesting character rather than a pure dick. Because it seems the organization has been messing with his mind. And his rules, which he was gonna burn! But yeah, I suppose I might as well also talk about the Rose. In terms of Beauty and the Beast, basically, it's something of a time limit, really. Which is actually kind of fitting when you consider the absent silhouette we face here, but... yeah, if the Rose completely wilts before he finds true love's kiss, then he's pretty much cursed to be a beast forever, as are the occupants of the castle. Which seems like kind of a dick way of going about it, really. Like, I mean, for the Enchantress, like, I mean, yeah, the beast kind of fucked you over, but what the hell did his, like, fucking manservants or his chambermaids do to deserve this? They're just... like, I mean, they're just working for a fucking coin, bitch. You just... you know what, maybe you deserve to be locked outside. Maybe the prince wasn't as much of a dick-ass as we initially thought. But I mean, I'm being facetious, really. I'm not too sure what the original, fairy tale of Beauty and the Beast would have been about. Because again, Disney, as with a lot of interpretations, do take liberties, including the old man one.
There's nobody here.
You mean there's nobody to rescue?
Did someone say rescue?
Shh! Keep quiet. It might be them.
Oh, they look like nice boys to me.
We are nice. We're your friends.
Yeah, Belle sent us to find you.
Wow.
I'm Sora. Donald. Goofy.
I am self-winding, sir. I am not too.
I'm glad you're okay.
It is we who are overjoyed to see you.
Did somebody put a spell on you guys too?
No. Yes, that's right. You've heard. It was the Enchantress.
It seems so long ago.
It was a cold winter's night. An old beggar woman came to the castle and asked for shelter.
But the master of this castle, that is, of course, the prince... Stop that! Put me down this instant! Thank you.
And because the voice acting budget ran out, now they're just going to explain it through text, which, to kind of critique Kingdom Hearts 2's presentation, they get a lot more mileage out of the text things here than they did in Kingdom Hearts 1. I imagine it was probably a budgetary thing, since again, they no longer have a reason to show off, like, fucking Lance Bass or fucking, like, David Boreanaz as, like, voice actors or anything, but still, Kingdom Hearts 2, they definitely try and measure the budget in terms of presentation a little bit more pishly, because you'll be noticing a lot more instances of default face, you'll be noticing the liberal usage of text cutscenes, and it does run the gamut of being a little bit cheap, but again, nothing too... excuse me. Nothing too distracting. God, my throat's been fucking with me today. Wow, what a story, guys. But anyway, we're pretty much busting these guys out, and that leads to kind of a pish mission, really. Actually, yeah, that's what I'm going to call it nowadays, the pish mission. I mean, I know I call them the context mission. Basically, think the thing in Holy Bastion where you had to defend the gate. Yeah, these are pretty much being called pish missions now. So I have decided as I continue to master my Christopher Lee voice. Which I still can't fucking do. It's been a while since I practiced as well, so I'm even more rusty than before. But in any case, we'll continue our trek throughout Beast's Castle next time, so on that note, I am Solid Scully, keep it new metal. And next time, we're gonna be sorting some shit out. Catch you next time.